The Maharashtra cabinet is meeting to take another look at the Adarsh Housing Society scam report. The move comes days after Rahul Gandhi said he was unhappy with the cabinet's earlier decision to reject the pro-panel report. Congress President Sonia Gandhi too had agreed with Rahul and urged the Maharashtra government to revisit the report that names former Chief Ministers Ashok, Chavan, Vilasrao, Deshmukh and Sushil Kumar Shinde. For more, let's get in a word from our correspondent Kamlesh, who is joining us from Mumbai this afternoon. Kamlesh, a crucial test for the Maharashtra government. Sonia Gandhi and Rahul both have urged the cabinet to relook the report that actually names Congress chief ministers, including Sushil Kumar Shinde, who's currently occupying the post of cabinet home minister. Whether or not the Maharashtra government acts on it and orders an inquiry is something that the opposition will be watching closely.
Well, certainly, Cindy, let me give you a quick update before we get on to that. The Maharashtra cabinet meeting has begun at around 11:15, and till 12, the issues haven't come up for discussion. But going back to what you said, yes, the Maharashtra cabinet is planning to reconsider the Adarsh Commission report. But what options does the state government have at this point of time? There are two things that can happen if the cabinet, if the ATR report is reconsidered by the state government. A, they can appoint a task force with several members and an outsider member. The task force will be looking into who are indicted in the report and what action can be taken. Like, for example, some bureaucrats are found guilty. They were indicted in the report. What action should be taken? This will recommend action. And to send the proposal to the government, prosecute politicians and ministers, the then ministers who were involved into the matter. Second option the cabinet at this point of has is to appoint a single member committee, maybe under the chief secretary of the state. That will recommend actions this to be taken. But what we learned from our sources is that the state government may partially accept some findings, the clauses, the terms of reference from 2 to 9 that were there in the part 2 of the Adarsh Commission report by Justice J. Patil. These some of them would be reconsidered, and that would be the single member committee would be giving report in a time-bound frame, and that might be put up in the next assembly session of Maharashtra, that is the budget session in February. If at all the Maharashtra government wants, if the cabinet decides, if it has the political will, they can consider the actions today itself in the cabinet meeting, which looks highly unlikely, but that is also an option. If the state government wants, it can recommend actions in the cabinet meeting today itself. We'll have to wait and watch what comes out of the cabinet. Finish?
All right, so increasing pressure on Chavan to act on that report after the High Command urged the Maharashtra government to revisit it. Kamlesh, what were the grounds on the basis of which the report had first been dismissed?
Well, the state government hasn't come up with any explanation on what grounds whether the report was rejected. It was just a 3-liner ATR saying that the state government admits with the terms of the report. Interim report that was given, clauses 1 and 2, where it was mentioned that the land belongs to the state government and was not reserved for Kargil war heroes. These recommendations were accepted, and the third point in the ATR was that the cabinet does not agree with the findings of the commission that are mentioned in part 2. We had posed the question to the chief minister several times in the press conference, which he addressed after the report was rejected, but he declined to comment just by saying that this is a cabinet decision, we cannot disclose that. But more in the circles that it's the opposition is also been alleging that it's more of a political decision, and the state government has no valid reasons given on what basis that they outrightly rejected the report. There would have been certain recommendations in the report, certain findings which the state government could have accepted, but the state government didn't do that. It created a lot of furor and political chaos, after which Rahul Gandhi had to step in. We'll have to wait whether the other findings or the findings in the part 2 of Adarsh Commission report are partially accepted, completely accepted, or again rejected while reconsidering the report.
Kamlesh, thanks so much for those details. We'll continue tracking developments. The cabinet meeting is currently underway.